Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV. I'm the editor of MetaStellar. And here with me today is AMIRA LOUTFI, our reviews editor. Hi, AMIRA.
Hello.
Every day, AMIRA and I read the top, not every day, every Friday, AMIRA and I read the top 10 science fiction and fantasy books on Amazon, the free ones. And today we're joined by KOROLOV, one of our other community members. We don't read the whole book. We usually just read the first couple of chapters, and then we'll tell you what we thought of it and whether we would keep on reading. All right, so the link to the article and the full reviews is in the description box below. For those who are new to the channel, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction. All the content is always free for our readers. We publish original short fiction, reprints, excerpts, essays, and lots of book reviews. We're able to do this thanks to the kindness of our Patreon supporters. The link to that is in the description box below as well. So let's get into it. Today's books. The first book is Displaced by Stephen Drake. Alex read this one. It's the first of 3 books in the Displaced post-apocalyptic science fiction series. The other books are $3 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And sorry for that stuff popping in and out of existence behind me there. There's a portal to an alternate dimension. Yeah. So Displaced is a sci-fi story about a small group of humans who wake up from suspended animation in a transport pod and now have to survive on a strange new planet. And he says this is a story of survival on an alien world. And he liked it. He's going to keep on reading to learn about the new planet. He liked the characters. They were interesting. A couple of the people in the group didn't get along with each other. One's a politician who takes charge of the small group of colonists and becomes the enemy of one of the other ones who's an outdoorly survivalist type. So you're set up with tension right from the start. And there's creatures on this new planet, and they're bigger, a lot bigger than the ones back home on Earth. So that sounds like a fun story. If you like it, it's free. All right, let's move on to the next book, The Culling, by Ramona Finn. The first of 3 books in the Culling teen and a young adult dystopian trilogy. The other 2 books are $4 each. They're not in Kindle Unlimited. And Alex says that you've got cybernetically enhanced humans here and potentially evil supercomputers in a dystopian future where the protagonist is an enhanced young woman named Glade, who's been trained to kill people on different colony worlds who are deemed unworthy by the authority database, which is a supercomputer linked to her brain and tells her who can live and who must die. So Alex said that the premise of a computer controlling our lives and deciding who lives and dies is really depressing, but he wants to keep on reading to see if Glade realizes how crazy her job really is and maybe even finds a way to stop the supercomputer. So he wants to finish and find out. All right, next we've got A Dream of Fire by J.R. Rasmussen, the first of 3 books in a Dragon Queen fantasy series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And this was a really good book. So it's set in the Magical Academy. I hate Magical Academies, but bear with me. The main protagonist is a teacher, not a student. And the teacher, whose name is Griffin, teaches mundane matters. He is a non-magical person in a school surrounded by mages. And he teaches like the basic math and reading and all the other standard subjects that they have to cover in school sometimes when they're not doing magic. So I thought that was a fun premise. And the book starts out because there was an underground kind of collapsed keep near the school that a dragon had been under. And it feels like there's an earthquake and some venomous, tiny dragon-like creatures fly out of there, vividrakes, and they attack the students and they bite Griffin, and their bite is poisonous. So he has to have some magical help to kind of recover. And then they have to go and collect all these vividrakes because they're so rare, and the school wants to catch them instead of killing them. And while doing that, he comes across a mysterious mage that's out there who's also been bitten, and Griffin shares what's left of his medicine with this mage, even though he can't see the mage's face. And then it turns out that this secretive mage is actually a dragon. But is it a dragon, or is Griffin hallucinating because he's just been bit by a venomous flying snake? We don't know. I like the characters. It's a fun premise. The characters feel real. And I like Griffin. I like the other teachers he works with. And I might stick with one. This is one of the 3 books I like this week. Next, we go on to the Coursodon Dimension Series bundle by M.L. Ryan. And this one was my least favorite of the books. So this is the first 3 of 7 books in the Coursodon Dimension Urban Fantasy series. The other books are $4 each, and they are all in Kindle Unlimited. So if you do like this, you're all set. So the book starts out ridiculously slowly. I know I always complain about slow beginnings, but this has got to be one of the slowest beginnings that I've ever read. I've gone through like about 4 chapters of this book, and we learn how the protagonist, Haley, is woken up by her alarm clock playing an oldie station. She's annoyed that she has to get up before the sun is up. She complains about daylight savings time. She makes coffee on autopilot. She feeds her cat. She does a bit of online shopping in excruciating detail. And it goes on like this. She goes for runs. She showers. Oh, she looks at herself in the mirror and describes herself to the reader. Like, I looked in the mirror and I was reminded yet again of my frizzy hair or whatever. And it's like, oh my God, I hate it when characters look at themselves in the mirror and describe themselves.
Yeah, it's pretty
as
bad.
If they're announcers at their own baseball games or something, you know? So that was like really annoying. Then something interesting happens. Turns out her job is that she milks free-range chinchillas for a living. But we don't get much more than that about that. Then there's banter with coworkers, totally normal, non-stressful, just normal coworker banter. And then she goes home, she makes dinner, she watches television, she goes to bed, she goes back to work the next day. Oh, and the Kindle she ordered back in the first chapter arrives. So she downloads Pride and Prejudice, she sets it up, she starts reading it. The next day is Saturday, she makes coffee. She has, this is like in detail. But I know that this is going to be an urban fantasy book because the prologue, just a few paragraphs, was all about some multidimensional being that something had happened to. So I'm waiting for him to show up. And so her cat hisses at her on Saturday. So that's the first sign that something is off. Okay, then she goes back to work where she gets milk and sugar in her coffee instead of drinking it black. oh no, something weird's going on. Finally, in chapter 4, she's at a bar waiting for her friends to show up, and they stand her up and she's talking to somebody else when she hears a weird voice telling her that she has to ask somebody for help. And she's like, oh, I'm hearing voices. I am going to leave the bar and go home now and go to bed. And maybe in the morning, I'll see somebody about this whole hearing weird voices situation, which is like a totally normal, reaction to have, a boring reaction to have, like a reaction that a normal human being would have, not a protagonist in an urban fantasy novel. So, yeah. So, maybe the book gets better after this point. And the writing is readable and engaging. I mean, I didn't have problems reading these 4 chapters, but I myself was not getting into it. I mean, she is a likable character. Her coworkers are likable. Her cat is likable. But her cat's name is Pumpkin. He doesn't talk. He's just a normal cat. But yeah, I can't see myself going back for this. It's a little too slow for me. Then we have Almond Ashes, which I've talked about before. Almond City Ashes by Connie Chappell. 5th and last book in the Ren, Grace, and Mystery Paranormal series. The other books are $3 each. They're all in Kindle Unlimited. And so the protagonist is a mayor's assistant in a small town in Ohio. She's picking up some extra work from freelance gigs, and she's been hired to do some history research on an old house. And it's a very slow beginning. It's also very slowish, like a Murder, She Wrote kind of mystery. Small town politics, historical research, murder. And I thought maybe I would read on and see what happened in this book, but I never did. And I really don't think I will. I previously reviewed it a month ago. All right. Then here's one of the books that I really liked. The Last Gifts of the Universe by Rory August. And it's a debut novel, and it's hard sci-fi. Set thousands of years in the future. Scout's brother Kieran, and their cat Pumpkin. Hold on, I might have the cats confused. Maybe the cat in the other book is named something else then and not Pumpkin. So sorry about that, people. All right, so here the cat is named Pumpkin. And they're on a spaceship. They're exploring the universe for signs of intelligent life, as are tens of thousands of other people, because there's a bunch of dead planets everywhere. Nobody knows what caused them, what killed everybody. And so everybody's out looking for signs of, or some clues about what the big bad out there is that's killing civilizations before it comes for us. So, so they find an emergency beacon on a dead planet, follow it down to a tunnel, find an old data cache of a dead civilization. And before they can get all the data out, 2 corporate pirates show up and steal everything from them. And so then there's a chase between them and the corporate pirates to get to the next place where these particular group of aliens fled to when they were trying to get away from that menace, so they can find out what's happening. I really like this book. This is a very thoughtful book. It's also a little slow, but not anywhere near slow as that other book. And I enjoyed it. And it reminded me a lot of the old golden age of science fiction books, like the Heinlein kind of books, the early Heinlein, not the old later stuff when he got creepy and weird. So I do plan to get to continue reading. I really recommend it highly. And author, if you're watching this, I'd love to talk to you on the show. All right, next we have a book that AMIRA, you read, Sacred Embrace by A.J. Ryder, the first of 4 books in the Midlife Elementals Urban Fantasy series. The other books are $1 to $4 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. This is the second time this book has been on this list. Is it? No, that's a totally wrong description. That has nothing to do with the description of this book. Ignore everything I just said. And so all I can say is that this is in fact Sacred Embrace by A.J. Ryder. All right, AMIRA, can you tell us more about the book?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I like it. I'm probably going to continue reading it, probably going to finish it this weekend. It's a really quick read. I did a lot of skimming, but I enjoyed it. It was good. So basically, it is a reverse harem romance between a bunch of angel guys and a demon princess. So reverse harem means that it's one woman and she has a bunch of guys who like her, and she doesn't have to choose. She gets to just be with all of them. I read the first 3 chapters, and from what I could tell, the viewpoint character is a good angel who's trapped in hell. Satan has a demon daughter, and the good angel is in love with her, and he wants to rescue her from hell, but she does have to redeem herself. And he is, really wants her to redeem herself. He's like checking to see like how evil versus how good is she. He's trying to like figure her out. He loves her. He's hoping that, that he can save her. And yeah, so yeah, I felt like this book is pretty fast paced. The end of every chapter moves the plot forward. So yeah, and I also found it to be interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading, and yeah, and I like it. I'm kind of unsure about the reverse harem element, but I kind of think I could probably skim through those parts. Yeah.
All right, so this is, okay, I got the right description. This is the first book of the 3-book Lightbringer trilogy, and the other books are $2 each, and they're both in Kindle Unlimited. So there you go. That's the real story there. All right, then we have Uncaged by, there we go. There's the book. Uncaged by Amber Ella Monroe. The first of 8 books in a dystopian future series, also called The Uncaged. The other books are $1 to $3 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. The 8th book isn't out yet, but is scheduled to be released next March. AMIRA, what do you think of it?
Not as good as the other romances that I've read. By that I mean other like Alien, Wolf Shifter, Fated Mate romances. I probably won't be back. However, the premise was really interesting. It takes place in a dystopian America, which has been divided into multiple dictatorships. There are also dangerous tribes roaming about. The viewpoint switches between Karis and Axel. Karis is a princess of sorts in this bizarro America, and Axel belongs to a tribe, and his duty is to kidnap her, but he finds her dancing in the rain and just is really attracted to her immediately. So yeah, I guess if you want more of that, like if you're into that type of story, then it's free, go ahead and get it. But it's definitely, but I wouldn't, I won't continue it. And other books in this genre, in my opinion, were better. I have a question about the Sacred Embrace. I think you might know. Do you know what what book series or like TV show this genre was like inspired by? Like the genre where like, is it inspired by the Lucifer TV show?
I don't know. let's see, when did this book come out? Came out in 2021, so it could have been.
Yeah.
Definitely, it feels like it has some of those elements. But and I am a big fan of Lucifer. Does it have the same kind of vibe as the TV show does? Kind of
I haven't seen the
snarky and
TV
funny?
show.
Well, it's a police procedural. It's funny and snarky and has family drama.
That sounds good.
Lucifer is the best show ever made.
Really?
Okay. Well, yes.
Okay. No, I'll check it out. Like I've been thinking, because this, Sacred Embrace, is not the first of this genre that I've read on this list, on the top Free Friday books. But it's like I feel like I always like them. I don't always read them or finish them, but I like them. So I'm just wondering, like,
but
what
the
is
idea of Lucifer, or one of his relatives, coming back to Earth, I've been seeing that in urban fantasy for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
Or people fleeing from their father, who's actually Lucifer, that kind of storyline. I've been seeing that for years in urban fantasy. Yeah. It's a common trope. And Lucifer itself is also based on the Lucifer comic books, which is I think an offshoot of the Sandman series, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, correct me in the hand. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you know the answer to this question. We'd really appreciate it.
We could just Google it, but no.
No, we need viewers to.
All right. So next we talked about Uncaged. So next is Awaken the Daughter by Jeremy Flagg. Here we go. Here's the here we go. All right. It is the first of 3 books in the Dawning of Superheroes alternative history urban fantasy series. The other books are $1 each, and they're both in Kindle Unlimited. And I really like this book. This is one of the books I like best from this week. It starts in 1942, and it has a little bit of Agent Carter, of an Agent Carter vibe, because it kind of feels set in the same time period. Eleanor, our protagonist, can see ghosts, and the ghosts show her are kind of like ghosts of people that she's seeing. So like I'm looking at you, and maybe like I see you stand up and like spill a cup of coffee or something, and that I would know that that's what you were about to do, or maybe that's what you just did. So she has that kind of weird vision issue where she sees what people are like about to do. And she's into gambling and boxing, both two hobbies where seeing what somebody's about to do can be very useful. She can't change the future, but she can take advantage of knowing it. And she's really cool. She's a really cool character. There's a very much of a hard-boiled, old school detective kind of noir mystery vibe to her. Like she drinks, she gambles, she spends all her time in a boxing gym, the world feels very real. I would love to see this made into a TV show. I think this would be gorgeous. It's a very atmospheric kind of book. The characters all feel real, old-fashioned, but with like a modern aesthetic to it a little bit. Meanwhile, there's a serial killer loose in the city, and Eleanor decides to see if she can use her powers to track him down. And also, she's had a vision of her own dead body.
Oh.
Yeah. So awesome. Highly recommend it. And next, we have the last book on our list, Time of Death by Nathan Van Coops. The first of 2 books in a Paradox PI, a sci-fi time travel mystery series. The other book is $3 each and is also in Kindle Unlimited. So this is the second time this book has been on this list. We previously reviewed it last November. And this is another one of those private eye feeling kind of books. This one is set in the present day. Jason Travers, the private eye, has an AI assistant named Waldo, lots of cool gadgets because he's a time traveler. I loved this book, highly recommended, cynical, funny. I couldn't put this down when I read it the first time and I went right back to it. Highly recommend it. All right, and that is it for today's books. So let us know what you think. If you like any of these books, if you're going to try them out, if you read them, comments are below. You can also support us on Patreon, as I mentioned previously. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to make sure you don't miss any of those videos. We're back here every single Friday. And we love interviewing authors too. And in fact, we've been posting a whole bunch of author interviews recently. So check those out as well. And AMIRA, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So much nicer doing this when you're not all by yourself.
Oh,
I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. And I'll see you all next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.